Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is MOSTAFA, and for today's video I'm gonna show you how I drew this portrait step by step. Hello guys. Now, because I'm still a beginner trying to learn, so I need a good reference, and what I mean by that is a reference with good lighting, so I can figure out structure and the planes of the head, etc. So I took my time trying to learn structure and proportions before I go to the next phase, which is shading and how to use the right values and so on. And on a later video, I'm gonna show you all the tips and mistakes I have done so far that affected the progress of my art. So, as for the reference, here it is. Okay, it is a portrait done with charcoal from the master OLIVERSIN, and I'm gonna leave his Instagram account down below. As for the program I'm using right now, I use Photoshop CC because I actually know how to use it, so you can really use whatever program you want to use. It depends on your taste and if you can work on it or not. For this style, I'm gonna show you right now, sorry. See? For this style, I wish I could say actually this is my style of drawing, but I don't really know, because it's been only like 3 or 4 months since I started drawing and studying. So I started to learn drawing realistically so I can tweak it later, and who knows, maybe I'm gonna stick with this style or not. I don't really know yet. So before we start, I'm using Angel GANEV brushes pack. I'll leave his YouTube channel and Instagram account down below. He's an amazing artist, and you can download his brushes right there. So I don't have really a steady hand, so I tend to sketch loosely and doing it traditionally because I actually can't use it digitally, can't draw digitally yet. Okay, so after like lots of tries, I'm still struggling with some features like the eyes, I don't know, the structure of the nose and the ears and so on. So I drew loose sketches, as you can see here. Here's the sketch I have done. Sorry. Here you go. Here's the sketch I have done. Maybe there are some issues with proportions and so on, but I'm gonna fix that later while I'm doing it digitally. So I take a photo of it, as you can see, from a mobile phone or a camera or whatever, then insert it to Photoshop. So the first step is to choose your canvas size. So you can go here, file, new, and I usually for portraits I use 3000 by 3000 pixels, so it won't be laggy and that style doesn't depend on sharp lines and details. So go to file, new, and choose your canvas size, which is 3000 by 3000 pixels, and hit OK. Okay, now insert your sketch and resize it also regarding your taste and canvas size. So I'm gonna drag it and put it right here, and then I'm gonna resize it. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna complete it later, so I have to like leave some space and hit OK. So the next step is to lower your opacity, the sketch opacity, or leave it as it is. It depends on how dark or light your lines are. So I lowered the opacity for like maybe like this, 65 or 6%, and then I use this brush called ink, and for sure the black color, and as I said before, it's custom brush by Angel GANEV. Then now it is time to draw over the lines. So hit a new layer and try to draw over the lines. For sure I have to like drag my reference and put it like there, so I can really, sorry, so I can actually, so let me see right now. Here, so I can draw and at the same time trying to fix my mistakes. So I don't really need to have like clean lines because as you see it's all over the place here, but I actually still do clean lines so I can improve my line weight and my sensitivity to the pen pressure because I'm kinda new with digital art and so on. So I tend to not to draw too many strokes to keep it clean. See, like that. Only like doing like this. Here you go. And so on. As you can see, for that style, I'm not actually trying to draw the features. I'm only like following the shadows because I'm gonna fill it with dark tones later. Okay, here you go. The head. And so on. The cheekbones. Here. Here. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna show you what I have done right there. Here. Okay. My drawing. Here is the sketch. Okay, as you can see, here's my sketch. And as I said before, as you can see, I didn't draw the eyes because I struggled with it kinda. So, or at this reference, I really didn't want to or didn't need to draw the eyes because I'm gonna fill it with black and then do like some strokes like the reference here, only like doing some strokes to define the shape of the eyes here, only with highlights and some of the midtones right here and define the shape of the eyes. So some artists like prefer drawing on a gray background, but I prefer like white one. It's actually regarding your taste and how comfortable you are while drawing. So now it's time to choose a new layer and fill it with 50% gray and used it as my base color for the portrait, or you may call it like the skin midtones. And here I have to say I only do that because I study values. So I only use like 5 values, like one for the midtones, one for the shadows, the lights, the dark shadows, and the highlights. But the problem with that is I'm not used to values yet. I can't really know what are the right values on the reference. And I know I can pick it from the image, but I tend to train my eyes. The only problem is I use some certain values, like I'm gonna say like 50% for, I'm sorry, let's choose just a new layer, 50% for the midtones, for the midtones, like 70% for the lights, maybe like 90% of the highlights, and 30% for the shadows, and 10% for the dark tones, the dark shadows. That's how I use it. But there is a problem with that actually is when I use some certain values, and if I keep doing that on the next sketches, they will be all the same. So when I progress to coloring, they will be the same skin tones and values. So you really don't have to stick with those values. I'm gonna show you. I would just like experiment and also try to play it safely. It's not a commission, so it's meant for studying. So as you can see, also here there are some strokes, white and dark strokes here, here, and here, and here also. And actually, I forget and draw on the wrong layer, so I would recommend you to name your layers, not like me for sure. Now, I use some strokes to define shadows. And as a beginner, you can determine the dark tones. As you can see here, I'm trying to follow the form of the planes. If we're gonna just do like that, here you go. Oops, what I've done. I don't even know where I actually. Yeah, see? Yeah. Okay, here are the dark. Here are the shadows. Okay, and I'm gonna show you how I'm following the form of the planes of the head with my brush strokes. So if you have like a plane, like I don't know, like this, sorry, like this. See this plane of the nose? So you can go with your brush either this way or this way. So for this, I'm using like for the shadows, the painting, I'm using like this brush called brick and do such like one stroke or something, and then use the eraser. Actually, sorry, again, I'm drawing on the wrong layer. Here we go. Again. So, sorry, again. Use again the brick layer and do like once, only one, like one stroke, and then use the eraser if I have to like erase some of those. Okay, just following the form. So if you have like a form, like a rounded form, like here, like this. So I'm trying to follow the form with my strokes like this. And then erase whatever I want to erase. That's how actually I do it. Okay, so let's delete it. Now, if you have like a plane, as I say, it really helps to drag the viewer's eye to the form, and I'm pretty sure with those like simple strokes, it's now seem more of a 3D than like a 2D sketch. So next step, you can put a new layer above the shadow layer, which is this one. Here you go. And now you have to do like the darker tones. Actually, I like to go from the darker tones to the light tones. There are some artists that actually do the opposite. It's not about doing it right or doing it wrong. Okay? So, first of all, you really need to know I'm just saying darker tones and dark tones, light tones. I'm not saying like cast shadows, drop shadows, and ambient occlusion, and so on. You really need to learn first how light affects the object and how it hits also the object so you can follow along. That's why I'm referring to them by dark and light tones, darker and darker tones. If you really didn't study that and practice, it actually won't make you more than a printer or just a copy slave. So studying and taking it a step by step will help you to improve faster. And I've really struggled a lot for more than 2 months or 3 months can even draw a proper face. And what I mean by proper face is just trying to do like the Andrew Loomis head, like this one here. I'm sorry, like I'm gonna show you right now, like this. So you see like the Andrew Loomis head, which is like only like a circle, and just put in like the proportions and so on. I really couldn't do that for real for like lots and lots of months. But after I learned like take it like step by step and draw the planes of the head and the structure of the head, the nose, and so on. It really helped me a lot, so I can figure out the planes and actually know where to draw and so on. So you really need to take it step by step. But after I practiced and studied it like step by step and took my time, I improved in a very short time. I can't deny I have some like talent or something, but actually that helped me a lot. But still, without learning, in the upcoming video, I'll show you my art only like 2 or 3 months ago and now, and you're gonna see by yourself. So, as I said before, I use like 10% here and like maybe like 30% here, 70, no, the midtones of 50, and then 70 for the lights and 10 for the highlights. I'm not actually, I tend not to go to pure black and pure white because I'm not actually that bold, you know. It may cause it like to be too much of a contrast and it won't be like balanced. So I kind of find it like balanced this way. So you really need to also determine the darkest tones on the reference. So here the reference you really need to define your determine your dark shadows and so on. Here you go. Here you go. Let's do just the color. Here, the light areas where the light is hitting. Now, here you go, the highlights. And these are like the shadows. Here you go, the shadows, the ambient occlusions, the shadows, and the shape. You really need to know the shape of the shadow. The shape. Here you go, here you go, and so on. After actually you determine such a thing, there are some shadows. It's kinda easy now to also put like the tones and the base tones on your drawing like I've done so far. So after that it is time for the light tones, and here it is. As you can see, you can already figure out where it will be from the reference here and here and here and so on. I also trying to follow the form and not using also pure white. It's about like 70% I guess. So it's now time for some refining and take in consideration soft and hard edges, and you really need to know again how light hits the form, how light hits the planes of the head and the shadows. Actually the edges of the shadows, is it gonna be like soft shadows or it's gonna be like hard shadows? So I use like put in like some more of darker tones and then like lowering the opacity of the sketch. As you can see here, you can actually see the lines of the sketch. I'm just lowering the opacity of it and using the smudging tool to soften some edges. Okay, then I'll use like more of the darker and lighter tones, but I actually made some mistakes here as you can see in the eye. So at the end I'm using like putting also some strands of the hair and just enhancing everything and refining it. It's actually, you can take your time and doing it and figure out which which is going wrong and which is going right. I know I here, as you can see, I kind of find it like the eye is a kind of bit weird and can be that wide, so I merge all the layers in one layer and do the refinement. And how you do that is actually by pressing Alt Shift Control and E, and it's gonna merge it all in one layer. So that's actually how I have done it, and here is like the final product. And I really hope you learned something, and if you liked it, press like button and subscribe for my channel. See you all.